everyone, I'm Rilin Asuntuhan. I'm the one who report of this topic entitled Compare the Plot and the Theme of Two Novels, No Le Tangere and El Filibusterismo. The theme of No Le Tangere seems to expose the exploitations committed by the Spanish friars and government officials. The various friars in the book were arrogant, condescending to the Filipinos, and greedy. They represented the infamous behavior of the Spanish friars in the Philippines, the brutality of other officials and authorities are also shown in the novel. It is a lot more hopeful and a little romantic than in comparison to El Filibusterismo. I have noticed that this novel focuses a lot more on the church. This book is a lot more hopeful than El Filibusterismo, which can be very dark and violent. The novel goes on, however, detailing the abuses of the military in the church. The church keep the masses afraid by their teaching them about hell. And if they, the Filipinos, don't follow the Spanish, they will be sent to the hill and such. So as you can see for yourself in the introduction of No Le Tangere, that the book isn't exactly anti-church nor anti-Catholicism, but it doesn't glorify the Spanish figures of the church established in the Philippines, but rather slanders in it a way, describing the abuse of women and children by the friars, the disregard of the Filipino people by the Spanish at the time. In the dedication of No Le Tangere, Jose Rizal dedicated the novel to the Philippines itself. He states how the fatherland is plagued by a social cancer. This shows how the novel is more focused on the Filipinos and the Philippines. To quote Jose Rizal himself, the novel is the first impartial and bold account of the life of the Tagalogs. To the Filipinos will find in it the history of the last 10 years. Theme of El Filibusterismo. The theme of El Filibusterismo seems to focus on how to reach a social reform and revolution. A number of chapters have long dialogues of text that seem to resemble debates. An example in chapter 7, in which Simon tries to convince Basilio to join the bloody revolution, almost like Darth Vader trying to convince Luke to join the dark side. This represents Rizal fading hopes for reform against his long-held abhorrence and aversion to the revolution. The book focuses on the inevitable revolution and whether or not the Philippines should rebel peacefully and diplomatically or violently. So, we can even see in the introduction in the book itself that it states that the theme of El Filibo is about colonialism. So, whether or not colonialism is right, if it is to trivialize a race, should say race reveal or assimilate. If independence is wished for, should it be peaceful or bloody? So in El Filibusterismo, Rizal dedicated two books to the memory of the Gamborza from Cavite. They were executed by the Spanish. They were blamed for instigating a small mutiny, and they were executed. I feel this is not worthy as it creates, in my opinion, a bit of a contrast with Nole's dedication. The Gamborja were unjustly killed by the Spaniards, which is also paralleled with one of the chapters in El Filibusterismo.
Value the important role of the youth and development of the new generation for the future society. Youth has the power to create change as long as we allow them to say their voice because they are the key of the future of prosperity and peace. The role of youth is simply to renew, refresh, and maintain. Youth has a role to renew and refresh the current status of our society, including the leadership, innovation, skills, and etc. They are expected to advance the current technology, education, politics, and peace of our country. The importance of youth. Youth is the backbone of any nation. Youth can play an important role in development of society. What are the responsibilities of youth? Youth has a very important role to play for society. For that, we need to know why youth are so special. It is so because that they are young, full of energy, and educated with rationality as their ultimate belief. Now, their role in society. Reproduce. Reproduction here doesn't mean increasing the population, but it means that they fulfill the position left by elders. Protection. Youth are expected to protect their culture and tradition, while at the same time make it better and embrace change in the society. Growth. The growth of a country in all spheres like social, political, and economic sphere mostly depends on the youth only. Youth are like leading character of a movie. Youth also need to take care of old ones who are now going to dependent. Dr. Jose Rizal said, "Youth is the hope of our future."
Good day, everyone. I'm Ron Rosel Inad, and I'm one of the reporter of Group 4 in History 10. The title is El Filibusterismo, and this is my assigned topic, which is Give Insights into the Stratified Society, a master-slave relationship made by the Spanish colonizers that conveyed by Rizal in El Filibusterismo. Slavery in the Philippines under the Spanish Empire. When Spaniards conquered the archipelago, the laws of the Indies served as a compilation of royal decrees for the Spanish colonies, including the Philippines. This included a law stating that Spaniards were forbidden to hold Filipinos as slaves since they were under the subjection of King Philip II. Observing the widespread practice of slavery among the native tribes, the law was sometimes ignored by soldiers, some acting on their own and seizing natives in various parts of the country. Governor General Legazpi, upon discovering this, freed the slaves and punished those who took them under the jurisdiction of the monarchy. So let's proceed to my insights. In El Filibusterismo, there's a line that says, like master, like slave, like government, like people. Yes, friends and fellow Filipinos, Dr. Rizal wrote the above lines as part of his novel. We are now in the modern world and so many years have passed. We are now a new generation of Filipinos spread through the homeland and across the world. Yet, these words still ring true. In substance, the relations of our government and people have not really changed much, despite the external changes mass colonial government to the trappings of democracy. But in the 2010 elections offers people's hope because now enabling technology is on the side of the people.
I am Princess Nidatar, and today I'm going to tackle the other writings of Rizal. First, let's go to the assess the writing. Rizal wrote mostly in Spanish, the lingua of franca of scholars, though some of his letters, for example, sa mga kabaihang taga-Malolos, were written in Tagalog. His works have since been translated into a number of Tagalog and English. The novel Nola Me Tangere, novel 1887, literally Latin for Touch Me Not, from John chapter 20 to verse 17. El Filibusterismo, novel 1891, sequel to Noli Me Tangere. Next, Mi Ultimo Adios, it is a form of poem, 1896, literally My Last Farewell. Alin mang lahi, whate'er the race, akong di man attribute to Dr. Rizal, the Friars, and the Filipinos, unfinished. Toast to Juan Luna and Felix Hidalgo, it is a form of speech, 1884, given at Restaurante Ingles, Madrid. The Diaries of Jose Rizal. Rizal's letter is compendium of Dr. Jose Rizal letters to his family members, Volume 3, Father Pablo, Pastel, and other reformers. Kam si gobiernan las Filipinas, governing the Philippine Islands. Filipinas Centro de 100 Años, it is a form of essay, 1889 to 80. The Philippines Century Hence. La Indonesia de los Filipinos, it is a form of essay in 1890. The Indolence of Filipinos, Makamisa is the unfinished novel. Sa mga kababaihang taga Malolos, it is a form of essay in 1889, The Young Woman of Malolos. Annotations to Antonio de Moraguas Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. It is a form of essay in 1889, Events in the Philippine Islands. Next is the El Filibusterismo of UP Diliman, Triumph of Science over Death by Rizal. Next, let's go to the poetry. We have A la Juventud Filipina, El Canto del Viajero, Braille Crismal, Canto del Viareo, Canto di Maria Clara, Daglit sa Paggawa, Man, Mi Piden, Mi Primera Inspiración, Mi Ritero, Mi Ultimo Adios, Por la Educación, Recibilustre la Patria, Sa Sanggol na si Jesus, To My Muse, in Latin a mi Musa, Un Recuerdo, in Spanish a mi Pueblo, Man in the Pitan, Place El Consejo de los Dioses, the Council of Junto al Pasig, San Intestagio Mart. Other work tried his hand at painting and sculpture. His famous sculpture work was The Triumph of Science over Death, a clay sculpture of a naked young woman with the ignorance of humankind during the Dark Ages, while the torch she bore symbolized the enlightenment science bring over the whole world. He sent the sculpture as a gift of his dear friend, Ferdinand Blumentritt, together with another one named The Triumph of Death over Life. The woman is shown tumbling the skull, a symbol of death, to signify the victory the humankind achieved by conquering the bane of death through their scientific advancements. The original large replica made of concrete stands in front of Fernando Calderon Hall, the building which houses the College of Medicine of the University of the Philippines, Manila, along Pedro Hill Street in Ermita, Manila.
Good day everyone, I am Julius Anses at B. Tabla, and today I'm going to report the other writings of Rizal. Give value and importance of understanding the past. The importance of understanding. There are only two novels, Noli Me Tangere in 1887 and El Filibusterismo in 1891. Noli Me Tangere, it teaches us the value of wisdom, fighting what is right, and loving our country. Notable among the virtues and values emphasized by Rizal in Noli were the following: the modesty and devotion of the Filipino woman. Noli Me Tangere was considered to be one of the instruments that intended Filipino nationalism, leading to the 1886 Philippine Revolution. As Filipino, we should always be righteous and still choose what is right over what is wrong. El Filibusterismo, both of Rizal novel, had a profound effect on Philippine society in terms of view about national identity, the Catholic faith, and its influence on the Filipino choice and the government issue in corruption, abuse of power, and discrimination. The story of Nalimitangere and Alphabetismo give us a societal message that the citizen should be the leader of its governing body and not the other way around. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Kanjiglo S. Gamolo, HM1A. So this is my report. Other writings of Jose Rizal. Formulate influential writing. There are two novels. First, Noli Me Tangere. Second, El Filibusterismo. The Noli Me Tangere, published in Berlin, Germany in 1887. Novel by Filipino writer and activist the Spanish colonial period of the Philippines. The El Filibusterismo, published in Ghent, Belgium in 1891, also known by its alternative English title. The Reign of Greed is the second novel written by our Filipino national hero, by Jose Rizal.
Good day, everyone. I was tasked to report about the perspective of Rizal in the 21st century, namely to the topic of express Rizal's relevance to the readers. So, admiring Rizal without understanding him is a kind of empty nationalism and blind devotion. Because if we don't understand what he really wanted to convey to his readers on his artworks, we really don't get what is the essence of being a part of or being a Filipino citizen. So, first he wants to address his readers of what they can do to change the world for the better. Rizal's message to the readers was that the anticipated so-called world culture was centuries away and could never be realized unless there was the complete elimination of the oppressor and the oppressed, the colonizer and the colonized. To him, the Filipinos had an immediate problem: how to eliminate the lack of liberty, and how to eliminate these colonizers. In Rizal's case, he has not living in what he conceived as a nation. A man in the Philippines is only an individual, not a member of a nation. Next is ideas of enlightenment. Driven by his undying love for his country, Rizal wanted to enlighten the 21st century young individual through his artworks or his novels, the El Fili and the Noli Me Tangere. The advancement of individuals' liberty, social progress, tolerance, scientific knowledge, constitutional government, and the separation of church and state. And the next one is that he wants his 21st century to understand the essence of nationalism and patriotism, bravery and courage, and most of all, love of God. Driven by his undying love for his country, Rizal wrote a novel to expose the ills of Philippine society during Spanish colonial era. The inability to conceive of a greater good that transcended the purely individual of personal interest was due to one's amor proprio, self-love, or false pride. Like many novelists of the late 19th century, Rizal used symbolism as technique to convey some messages to the discerning readers. Nole Me Tangere and El Fili Busterismo are full of characters exemplifying this moral failure. It is the manifestation of the lack of national sentiment. Our national hero exemplified fundamental element of national sentiment. He showed consciousness of the fatherland and the existence of people, bravery, in exposing publicly what he believed were evils in the colonial society, and the decision to do away with self, love, or vanity and all that is implied. He dared to touch what many others feared to touch. In his novel Noli Me Tangere, which means touch me not, he had cleared or he had dared to do what many others feared to do. He tried to answer the calumnies heaped on the Filipinos, unveil what was really behind the promises of the government, express the hopes and aspirations of the people. That's all. Thank Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Janeth Pilot Bantayan and our topic is all about Philippine-American relations. And I was tasked to discuss first. Relations between the Philippines and the United States or US have traditionally been very good. Both our governments and our peoples have been close over the years. Today, more than 100,000 US nationals reside in the Philippines, while there are some 2 million Filipino Americans in the United States. So, the relationship between the Philippines and the United States or US have been a nice state since immemorial. They have shared together a lot of issues that was eventually solved. We have been very open by their traditions, cultures, beliefs, and practices. We exchangely and fairly treat and respect each one of us as proof that both our governments and peoples have been very close over the years. Filipinos are accepted in US and vice versa. We have wandered in US for some important matters and also Americans resided on us for important matters too. It has 100,000 US nationals who resided in the Philippines while there are some 2 million Filipino Americans in the United States. There was a marked downturn in our bilateral defense cooperation ties after the US bases left Clark and Subic in the early 90s. But even this did not sever our alliance, which is founded on a Mutual Defense Treaty, or MDT, nor did it alter the fact that the Philippines and the United States share fundamental interests as allied democracies in security, peace, stability, and freedom in the Asia-Pacific region. So, uncertainties in between two countries was visible by some time. We happen to have misconceptions and misunderstanding, but that did not change the fact or did not sever our alliance with them, which can be surely found on Mutual Defense Treaty or MDT. Problems and issues came upon, but it does not alter the fact that Philippines and United States share fundamental interests as allied democracies in security, peace, stability, and freedom in the Asia-Pacific region. The two countries much prefer to resolve the problems and issues and continuously have each other's back, for they are sharing the same goals and aims, and that was to maintain security, peace, stability, and freedom.
Good day everyone, I am Janamel Kaligunan and today I will present the perspective of Rizal in 21st century with the topic critically assess the Rizal Law to make it relevant to the present history of the Philippine 21st century. Next. The Rizal Law shows significance to education by educating the Filipino about the life and works of our national hero who dedicates his whole life to our country. It introduces the Filipino to the beauty of studying Jose Rizal's life and works through various social science and disciplines. Next. The law is significant in dedicating the lives of the youth to the ideas of freedom and nationalism, for which our heroes live and dead. To pay tribute to our national hero for devoting his life and works to shape the Filipino character and to gain an inspiring source of patriotism through the study of Rizal's life, works, and writings. Thus, it is important to study Rizal's life, works, and writings to instill in our lives the idea and ideals of Jose Rizal, as well as to develop a deeper awareness and understanding to their relevance, so that we can apply them in our daily lives and become active participants in nation building in the long run.
So, the Republic Act 1425, known as the Rizal Law, mandates all educational institutions in the Philippines to offer courses about Jose Rizal. It has been enacted on June 12, 1956 and was sponsored by Senador Claro M. Recto. It is an act to include the curricular of the all public and private schools, colleges, and universities courses on the life, Works and writing of the Jose Rizal, particularly his novel No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo, authorizing the printing and distribution thereof, and for other. The Rizal Law also shows significance to education by educating the Filipino about the life and work of our national hero who dedicates his whole life to our country. It introduces the Filipino to the beauty of studying Jose Rizal life and works through various social science disciplines. It aims to instill not just an appreciation for education, but also a sense of nationalism and patriotism among Filipinos. Beyond exposing the learners to the life during Rizal time, it also provides for a more practical application of that knowledge, skills, and key values gained through studying Jose Rizal life and works. And of course, it is important because it emphasizes the use and development of logical and critical thinking, as well as challenging the learner's critical thinking skills and reflective abilities. The Filipinos were made aware of Jose Rizal's accomplishment and principled life by this law since he was a figure of substantial nationalism and unwavering love for the country.